approves the special permit. What you're doing is approving the civil engineering. So that's a piece of it. It's one piece of it. That's not it. He goes, no, no, that's not what Barney said.
Well, Barney's not right.
And I said, well, let's talk further. And Barney said, we're on the same page. That's not my understanding. That's not been my understanding for 7 years.
That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about when I couldn't remember.
Oh, good.
So when I was on the land use committee years ago, we went through everything in detail. And the chairs, and I don't know how you do it now so much, but the chairs recently said leave the details to the staff. And maybe that's not such a good idea.
I think on this project we are not. Even though it felt like an easy project and all the neighbors and the brothers, and they all said we support this project and we're not so emotional. So I mean, you know what I mean?
You tell us when you turn that
Yeah,
around. lower the walls, refused. So they are no longer.
Because that's good news, because my concern is them coming after us, as a council, and because we're tied now.
Absolutely, that was my concern. We have approved this thing. And the other part is the planning used to flag stuff for us. Like when they changed the section over 500 acres, they used to point that out.
Oh, Allison's coming. Okay, we have 5 people, that's good.
We'll have.
Kalis. Oh yeah, this is where Mark used to always sit. That's why I think I left that one.
He just had something else he had to do tonight.
And Emily used to be there and Lenny used to be there.
Lenny is away.
And his daughter is getting married.
Yeah, I heard that last night.
This is
Or
good.
theirs, and they were doing the.
Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody. This is an irregularly scheduled meeting of the Public Facilities Committee. And we have with us at the beginning of the meeting, Councillor Kelly from Ward 3, Councillor Kalis from Ward 8, Councillor Leary, Councillor Getz from Ward 5, and myself, Susan Albright from Ward 2. And I think that's all that we're going to have at this meeting tonight for councillors. And we are both being audio and video recorded. And our staff tonight has graciously offered to fill in yet again. Dot Matthews who's our assistant clerk for the city council. Okay, our first item is 275-24. Before I read it into the record, is there someone from Verizon here? Yes, okay, good. Yes?
Yep.
Yes, good. All right, so I'm reading it into the record. Verizon petitioning for a grant of location to relocate one jointly owned pole, P6, located on the northerly side of Chase Street, approximately 13 feet southwesterly from its existing location to accommodate a new driveway. And we also, by the way, have Lou Taverna from engineering who will comment as needed, right, Lou? When we need you, you'll be there for us.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have from Verizon, we have Alexander Marrero. Is that, do I have that right, Alexander?
Yes, that's correct.
So we talked about this, but there was nobody here from Verizon at the last meeting, so we held it. Do you have anything that you'd like to tell us about this project?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to introduce myself for the records. My name is Alexander, last name Marrero, Marrero, an employee of Pike, BIKE Telecom and Renewables LLC, authorized contractor for Verizon New England Incorporated. They have asked me to speak on their behalf about this petition in front of you this evening. Verizon is petitioning to relocate one existing pole, number 6, located on Chase Street, as you mentioned, approximately 13 feet in a southwesterly direction along Chase Street. Verizon is doing this on behalf of a petition by Westview Partners Holdings LLC. They are doing a new construction on 47-49 Chase Street, and they want to do a new driveway where the existing pole is. So the new pole to be placed would be like for like. Existing pole, according to our records, is a 40-foot class 2. So the new pole will be a 40-foot class 2.
Okay. Thank you for that. The hearing was left open, so unless anybody has any questions, we can see if anybody would like to speak. And so if there's any public who would like to be recognized on this project, please let us know. Has anybody raised their hand? You can raise your hand with a little electric hand or just wave your hand at us. I don't see anyone. So perhaps we should close the public hearing. Yeah, so giving last chance, is there anything behind the little? There's nobody behind there that's got their hand raised, okay. So, seeing nobody, that we can close the public hearing. Okay, comments from the council and Councilor Leary and then Councilor Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if this was replacing a driveway or creating a new driveway or expanding an existing driveway.
That information I don't have available. The only information I have is that the pole is in the way of a new driveway.
So I can tell you that there are 2 lots being worked on here with 2 different developments next side by side. And as I understand it from talking to the planning department, they want to have 1 driveway instead of 2. So they would be abandoning the 2 driveways and putting the 1 in, and the pole is in the way of the new one.
Okay, thank you. That answers my question.
Lou, you've seen the plan. Is there anything that is different from what I said?
No, that's correct. And I just want to note that the proposed pole location is actually close to the property line, much closer to the property line than the existing pole location. So that's kind of a precedent that Verizon attempts to do, put these utility poles on or near the property line.
So, so is there anybody else who, Councilor Kelly, you had your hand up.
I remember some questions from before about was tree going to be impaired and how close to the neighbor's property? And I believe I see the developer on. Alexander, do you want to talk to this to some extent to clarify things for us?
Well, the engineer assigned to this job already took a look of the proposed location, and we don't believe that we would interfere with the tree at all. None of the existing branches should come into contact with the pole. We might need to do some light tree trimming for the cabling work that needs to be done, obviously to unlash the old cables and relash them to the new strands when they do the transfer. But I don't expect any issues to be with the existing tree that's on Chase Street.
Thank you. My mistake for not being clear about which Alexander I was talking to. Mr. Cogan, do you want to say something about this?
Yeah, I was muted. I was actually trying to talk. If I can share actually the plan, so it's for clarity. Let me do that real quick. So this is the proposed driveway. So the existing driveway is actually here for the existing house. So that will be abandoned and closed, and new curbing will be placed. And the pole where it's located today is in the way of a proposed driveway. So the Verizon would relocate that, I guess southeast, I want to say. And the tree, it's not on this plan, but I actually did some measurement. So the tree is about here and the pole would relocate here. So the tree is not in the way of the pole, proposed pole location.
Okay, and is there a second driveway with the other property, or am I wrong about that?
No, so it's single driveway for both, no.
In
So
the-
it's
the
been
exist-
subdivided in a single driveway down the middle.
I understand, but in the existing conditions, are there two driveways?
Single driveway that's here.
So it's one for one.
And what I sort of remember from our last meeting was the abutter to the right spoke, and she was concerned that this pole might be placed closer to her property, but in fact it's being moved
Actually
from
moving
the
away.
property.
Counselor Getz?
Can you show the plan that was, on the engineering plan with the two builds? Because there's a comment in the denial for, it's proposing, the plan is proposing a new curb cut. And then it says within the 10-foot tree buffer zone required prior approval from the tree warden.
Yeah, so the plan, if we were to go with two driveways, this driveway would be shortened to basically keep the existing curb cut to 12 feet, which is what it currently is. And it would not be impacting the city tree, which is actually here. And then the second driveway will be placed and the pole can be left standing. Obviously, our preference would be for this committee to approve single driveway, not impact, close, one for one. So this same old driveway would just be relocated here and the pole will be placed to the left.
If I understand it, tell me if I'm right, Alexander, the alternate, if we didn't approve moving the pole, would be to
We haven't, so we haven't approved, no, I understand you haven't. So we are still, it needs to be relocated. If it's approved, we're gonna go forward with this plan. And if the pole is not approved, relocation is not approved, we'll have to work with an alternate solution.
So the circular driveway was if they didn't get.
Exactly.
Relocated.
Okay.
All right, because that was very confusing to me on this plan, because it's sort of showing it, as one larger driveway.
But that's not their preferred plan is to move.
Okay, so this
move
needs
the
to be
pole.
renovated. This plan needs to be updated.
Correct, yeah, so we're gonna resubmit a plan that has, if the pole relocation is approved,
Okay,
we'll resubmit a new plan that has a single driveway.
okay. All right, Counselor Kalis?
Yeah, Mr. Cogan, so it looks like currently the wires that come off the pole probably go through the tree that exists there now. Is that right?
Honestly, I don't know.
Well, Ye- I mean, I'm just trying to get the sense
Yeah.
that the wires really they're not moving. They're going to be, you're just moving the pole a little bit over
Pole,
to the
yeah,
left.
so the
that's-
same, right, so the same wires would be reconnected, I'm assuming, again, it's a question for Verizon.
Yeah. Okay, so there's no difference there. So that to me is important. Thank you.
Counselor Leary?
Yes, just a few more details. How many feet away is it from the pole? And I see that that's a decent sized tree, and I wanted to know what species it was as well, since Julia Maliki isn't here to ask that question.
Does anybody know the answer to that? So what was your first question about the distance to the tree?
I wanted to know what the distance was between the pole and the tree, but looking at the map, it looks like it's quite a significant distance. And I think the most disturbance to the tree is actually, as Councillor Kalis had already said, the wires going right through it.
Yeah,
It looks like it might be a
But-
linden tree. It's a nice tree, and I just wanted to make sure that this project didn't undermine the tree in any way than it already is.
right, so my understanding, so the pole would move to about 13 feet to here. So it'd be a little closer to the tree that it is now, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna be the drip line, that's what I was told, but I
But
don't
of
know what
course,
species.
trees grow.
Yeah, this is actually pretty close to what it is today. I mean, I don't think it's much bigger. I do, yeah, obviously it will grow over time.
Yeah. It looks, I'm looking on Google Maps and it could be a little bit, but it looks like a decent sized tree. And a healthy tree. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't, you were gonna be careful about how that, we're very careful with our street trees now. We want to make sure they're being preserved and not being undermined in any way, so we're always gonna ask those questions.
Mr. Marrero, maybe you should comment on that. Your goal is to make sure that you don't harm the tree, or will you take the tree into account?
Yes, well, obviously we need to make sure that we don't harm the tree. As I said, the engineering team has already taken a look at what the pole is proposed to be, and it shouldn't interfere with the tree as is right now. As you said, the tree might grow at some point, and if that point we don't usually do anything to trees, even if they grow around our poles. The only time we do any sort of maintenance is if we need to change something with the pole, and we don't anticipate anything like that happening anytime soon once the new pole goes up in place.
Okay, Councilor Gans.
There will be some sort of discussion with the tree warden and, tree protection put in place before any work happens, correct? I mean, there are boards that you can actually put up around the tree so that then it's protected,
So perhaps what we need to do is put a condition that
Correct.
they speak to the tree warden and do whatever the tree warden requires to protect the tree.
During construction.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that sound reasonable to you, Mr. Marrero?
That sounds reasonable.
Councilor Kalis, do you have your hand up again?
No.
Okay, any other comments on this one? So we don't have anyone here from Ward 6. Would someone else like to make a motion?
You're fine, go ahead.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. Okay, yes, that we approve this permit, or this request.
okay, so Councilor Getz has moved approval. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Abstentions?
With the
Okay.
conditions, right?
Yeah, and the condition will be as stated about the tree warden. All right, so thank you very much, and we'll let you have your evening back.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
The next one is 293-24. Eversource Energy petitioning for a grant of location to install and maintain approximately 378 feet of conduit westerly from the new manhole MH32297 at the intersection of Auburn Street and Evergreen Avenue to support the MWRA tunnel boring machine project in Ward 4. Do we have someone here from Eversource? Could you raise your hand if you're from Eversource? Joanne, perhaps are you from Eversource? Just nod your head if that's the case. Yes, okay.
I recognize her.
I'll unmute you.
Raise your hand.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
I
eve-
was struggling to find the raise your hand button.
So is there anything, this has come up before, and you've had a response from DPW about trying to move the manhole. Do you have a response back to us about that?
So what happened was I missed the original hearing. I somehow missed the notification, so I was not there. But I did see all the DPW comments, and we're willing to meet all the recommendations that they had given.
Okay. So, Lou, Mr. Taverna, if they meet all those requirements as you prescribed, are you happy with this situation?
Yes, ma'am. We're fine with the situation as amended, if you will. Yeah.
And are those official in the report back to Eversource? Your comments about moving the manhole and all of that, is that, do we have to include that as a condition, or have you already stated that in your report?
I believe we stated it in our report.
Okay.
Yes, so it is on the Granite location,
Yeah,
as the
yeah.
recommendations, it's outlined very clearly for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to submit a new plan showing, what the DPW had asked us to do as far as moving the manhole and moving the conduit onto the grass, et cetera.
Very good. All right, should we leave the hearing was also left
still-
open on this one.
Is there anyone who wants to?
Is there anyone who wants to speak on this one? You can raise your hand, you can wave your hand, you can nod your head.
If not, I'll move to close the public.
Yeah, I don't see anybody, so I think we can close the public hearing.
Okay, so moved.
Okay, I'm not sure we have to vote on
Wait,
that.
I don't think we do in this
Yeah.
committee, we just say it.
We just, yeah. So, comments from the committee? Questions, comments?
I'm happy, Joanne, to hear that Eversource is willing to follow all the recommendations of our DPW and move it and make it safer. So I'm fine with it.
Good. So do you
And
want to?
because I'm another close ward to Ward 4, I'm happy to make a motion to approve this request.
Okay,
I just have a quick question.
Council Leary.
Thank you. I just want to be clear, are we voting on the plan as amended, or are we going to wait for a new plan to be before us?
I think it could be as amended because they will submit to DPW and the engineering folks will decide if it meets their requirements or not. So
Yeah,
we're,
they need to obtain a street opening permit from us. So we'll ensure that they're abiding by our request during the street opening permit process.
Okay, thank you.
is it worthwhile us mentioning that as a condition that they should submit a new plan that meets the requirements of the engineering department?
Or is it understood? Well, there's no harm in saying that.
Yeah,
But
I'd be more comfortable with that added.
it's get it on the record that we're ensuring that.
That's what we understood.
Yeah,
Given that understanding, I make a motion, now an amended motion. So have a happy amendment to approve this request.
okay. So any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Okay, the next item is 313-24. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to appropriate and expend the sum of $105,253 from the Energy Stabilization Fund to fund an LED lighting project at Newton South High School. Who is here for this one?
Oh my God.
Bill
Here,
Ferguson.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is a project that will complete our LED lighting conversion at South High School. We've been converting the lighting to LED there in phases since 2015, using mainly Green Communities grant funds with some match with the Energy Stabilization Fund monies. We have a chance to complete the school 100% with LED now before the incentives available from the utilities get cut. So we're asking for $105,000, 105,253 to be exact, to complete the school with 100% LED. And in exchange, Eversource will provide us with a grant of over $30,000. So there's the funds we're requesting come out of the Energy Stabilization Fund. Last time I checked in late July, there was $311,000 left in that fund. So we would like to use $105,000 of those available funds.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have questions, comments? No?
He answered my question. So, just even in terms of the remaining.
Council Getz, I think you have to speak up.
So just in terms of the remaining fund balances, is it earmarked for anything else?
Not at this point. We have a lot of projects that we're considering that we could tap into some of those funds for, but right now this is the priority. This has been discussed with Josh Morse and Jonathan Yo, and there's a agreement that this is a good use of those funds.
Yep. Counselor Kalis?
Sounds fine. I'm just wondering, does the school committee vote on this at all? Does it impact the students? In terms of the light type of light they're experiencing?
The lighting we've put in there, we've done 90% of the building. It's always been well received, and we've done now something like around 20 buildings in total with LED lighting, and the vast majority of the schools have been done. There's a couple of smaller schools left. I always go back after the jobs are done and I ask the teachers how they like it, and I've always gotten a very positive response. So it's a better quality of light. It improves the lighting, and from a maintenance point of view, these lights last a long time. But fluorescent lights, those bulbs go out, fairly regularly. Every, they might have a life of 3 or 4 years, and they have to be changed. So these LED lights last. I mean, they've been guaranteed for 10 years. And they've seldom failed. Not that we haven't had any fail, but compared to the maintenance required for like a fluorescent lighting system, these are much lower maintenance.
Great, thank you. Motion to approve.
All right. Counselor Leary?
Mr. Ferguson, just to remind me, I know this is a money-saving measure as well. What amount of funds are you expected to save with the new lighting?
The estimated savings for this project is $17,000 per year.
Per year, okay,
Mhm.
pretty significant. Thank you very much. I'm fine with this project.
Okay, so Counselor Kalis has moved approval. Any further comments before we vote? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? Okay. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. 315-24, Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to transfer and expend the sum of $215,000 from Trio mitigation funds identified in Council Order 9617, condition number 4, for the purchase and installation of new traffic signal equipment at Lowell Ave, Washington Street intersection. I could speak to this one, but I won't. Commissioner McGonigal, you're here for this one, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And you're correct, you are well versed in this whole entire project. Public Works is requesting authorization to transfer and expend $215,000 from the Trio mitigation funds. This would be to purchase and install new traffic signal equipment at the Lowell Avenue and Washington Street intersection. The new equipment includes a new signal controller, new signal mast arm and foundation, along with signal heads and the associated equipment, the conduit and wiring that all go along with that. This new equipment will facilitate safer and more efficient operation. And the main advantage here is this will enable a dedicated westbound, so heading towards West Newton on Washington, a dedicated left turn phase, which currently does not exist, and that's where the majority of the accidents occur. And also, this will improve vehicle detection coming from all 4 directions also.
So I'll give a little bit more background. Don't know the exact number, but it's a little over 400,000 left in the mitigation fund. And we couldn't do what we originally planned, perhaps impending building of a new station in Newtonville. So this seems like everybody that looked at the Lowell to Chestnut Street, Washington Street project said, can't we do something about the Lowell Street intersection? And it seemed like this was the right thing to do with some of that mitigation money. So that's how we came to this conclusion. Counselor Kalis. Counselor Kalis?
Yeah. Will this be integrated with the other lights that are near it?
So it could be coordinated, but because the other signals they're far enough apart where it really doesn't impact, coordination to that effect. There won't be an impact because they are so far apart.
But does it have the technology if we need to in the future?
This will have the technology. Yes, this has the GPS technology.
Thank you.
What's that? Counselor Leary?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I do remember the discussion about the Washington Street project, and I agree that we need improvements here. My question is we're encouraging bicyclists down on Washington Street heading east. And with the left turn signal, will there be a bike signal like that goes red when that green left turn signal is on to warn bicyclists, which is usually what is done now, was we make those improvements?
Well, the bicycle signal is separate. And I think until we have some data from the pilot, that may be another phase of that project, but this does not include a separate bike signal, no.
Okay, I am just because I've been biking to work every day lately, and I see the real benefit in these new, and they're fairly new. A lot of Boston has them, Watertown's putting them in, Cambridge has them all. And the real danger to bicyclists is those turns. When especially a larger vehicle is turning, that's a pretty imminent danger. So I just want to keep that in mind, and that you're saying that you're going to be thinking about this later down the road. I really hope we do follow up on that, because the intent of the Washington Street project is to encourage safe bicycling and getting more people, especially children or students, going to Newton North. And I just want to make sure that we're ensuring their safety as well as the safety of our drivers.
Agreed. Thank you.
And then can I put in a plug for a left turn signal at Washington and Adams? Can you stick heading west, the same thing?
Commissioner McGonigal, you know how much the bicycle light would cost?
I don't have that number offhand. We could get that, but again, I think we want to implement the pilot first. This is something that would be separate. The bicycle signal. So again, there wouldn't be any cost savings for us to do that now, as it is a separate project. And again, with the pilot, we may end up having to move the bicycle signal if we were to install it. So I think installing the pilot first would be ideal in this situation. And also during that left turn phase, all other directions do have a red light, so no one should be going through the light, even the cyclists at this point, although the cycle signals are a benefit.
Right. Well, thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that you will keep it in mind for a future improvement.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Kelly.
Thanks. Yeah, I'd like to follow up too, Commissioner. Because the location of this is like at the end of the pilot project and beyond the Washington Street enhancements, which we're still struggling to get that traffic signalization working better. Something you said struck me, and I just want to be sure I understand it. You said that there will be vehicle detection from all four directions with are you saying that that's like a real-time adaptive signals?
No, it's not the adaptive that we've been talking about. No, this is not the adaptive signals.
But what advantage do you have then of having vehicle detection in all four directions if you can't adapt to that? And
well, it does adapt to it. It's part of the timing program.
Those are preset modeled timing signals. Nothing will be responding in real time to who's actually at this intersection in any of those four directions.
No, it does respond in real time.
It does.
Yes, that's part of the vehicle detection. With the enhanced vehicle detection, if there aren't any vehicles there, you're not going to have a signal change unless you have a call for a pedestrian crossing or something of that nature.
Wow, because this is not happening down in West Newton Square.
It,
So I'm-
it is happening, and that's probably another conversation. Happy to get into it. It does happen there. And we know there's other reasons for congestion there. The signals are very close together. There are pedestrian crossings which affect the signal timing every time somebody calls for a ped crossing. So yes, this is a very different scenario than West Newton.
I understand the congestion there. I'm just trying to see, this is part of a continuum of that whole corridor. And, you know, I, for one, and my other Ward 3 colleagues have all experienced this sitting at, say, Chestnut Street with a red light when no one is coming on Washington. So it's not working that way in West Newton yet. So I'm hoping it will work that way here at Lowell and Washington.
It sounds like that's the plan, so that's good. Anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay, it's my award, so someone else could you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the transfer of $250,000 for this new traffic signal.
All right, so Melissa Kelly has moved approval. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, very good. I think the people who live south of what?
It'll be good.
It'll be good. The people who live south of Washington Street will be so happy.
Intersection.
It is.
Okay, 3/18/24.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
Thank you.
Oh, for that one.
Yeah, he'll be.
I'm not thanking you yet for the upcoming ones.
Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to borrow $4,400,003. It's that's a weird thing to say. $403,000 in an interest-free loan payable in 1/10 installments over 10 years from the MWRA Sewer Infiltration Inflow Local Financial Assistance Program Phase 15 loan program for the design and construction sewer CIP 10, Project 10. Commissioner, you're on.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. DPW is requesting authorization, as you stated, to borrow $4,403,000 from MWRA, which we do yearly as an interest-free loan paid over 10 years to implement the design and construction of our CIP Sewer Project 10, which is in the CIP. This is the next phase of our sewer capital improvement plan. This project includes repairs and replacement of sewer main in areas of Newton Highlands, Newton Corner, Newton Center, and Woburn.
Commissioner, this is sort of related, but not really the same, but I'm wondering if you could come back and if under a different docket item and give the committee an overview of how we're doing on the plans for sewers, water, and stormwater, just to give us where we've been and where we're going and what the future looks like. Would that be something that you would be willing to do?
Oh, most definitely. We would bring in our consultant, Weston and Sampson, which has worked with us from day one on this. And we can talk about, we can narrow it right down to the number of gallons that we no longer infiltrate or send to Deer Island through the inflow and infiltration project, and talk about the next phase of this also. Once we get through the entire city, we'll be looking at sewer laterals probably as our next phase. So yes, that would definitely be a great discussion item.
Great request. We love those updates.
So Councilor Leary.
That just reminded me, I got to make sure that I'm making those water, sewer, stormwater working group meetings. So we were talking about reporting out working groups last night in the chairs meeting, remember? But I just wanted to, I'm really happy with the commissioner that we're taking advantage of those no interest loans. You're doing a wonderful job working on the upkeep of our underground infrastructure. So I'm more than happy to approve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilor Getz.
I'm just interested in, I'm actually looking on the city website right now. So there's a map is there not, of like all of these locations and, you know, the progression in terms of what's been accomplished? I'll find it.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? Counselor Leary?
Oh, she did, good.
Am I right, Counselor Leary? Didn't you move approval? I think you did.
I think
Good.
She
I
thought
think
it.
I said I would be happy to approve. Yes, I move approval.
On the record, Counselor Leary made the motion.
Counselor Leary, you moved that.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last item is 319-24. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to borrow $1 million, I'm gonna read it here, $1,957,300 in an interest-free loan payable in 1/10 installments over 10 years from the MWRA Phase 4 Water Loan Program. Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we need to amend this item and I'll explain. So this is similar to the sewer that we just spoke of. This is a loan from the MWRA. It is interest-free also. But the way the water loan works is it's an authorization to borrow up to $19,573,000. So this is really a 10-year authorization that the MWRA distributes as 1.9573 million per year. So just not to confuse things. And I think that original docket item was missing a zero. But that's what this authorization is for. This funding allows us to continue the planned CIP water work where we clean, line, and replace our city water mains. We have 19 miles of water mains scheduled to be rehabilitated over the next 10 years. So we spend about $4 million a year. So just about half of that comes from this loan. And the other half comes from our bonding or water reserve funds.
So try to understand, is the amount wrong? 1,957,000, is that right?
Yes, that's the yearly amount, but it's really a 10-year authorization. This is how the MWRA does the water program for some reason.
So will we see this every year for the next 9 years? Or are you just requesting it this once and it lasts for 10 years?
Yeah.
Correct. This one, we request this one time and then MWRA will distribute just the 1.95 million each year to us.
So between you and the clerk's office, will you come up with the exact language that we need to approve when it goes to the full city council?
Most definitely. We'll be in the clerk's office in the morning and in contact to
Okay,
amend this.
all right. We understand that it's 19 million, not 1.9 million.
That's correct.
Okay. All right, and Counselor Leary.
I will make a motion to approve as amended
Okay.
when
Any
the
questions?
time is right.
Okay. If no comments or questions, we have a motion to approve. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstentions? All right, we very efficiently got all our work done. Good job, everybody.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you
you,
all
Chair,
very
for
much.
running an efficient meeting.
Thanks, Commissioner.